Okay, Jess, you're terrified, but you got this. Just show them your work. Or, hear me out, don't. Because what if it sucks? What if people laugh at you? Oh, or worse, what if they just ignore it? This right here is what being an artist can feel like. 1 second you're inspired, the next you're paralyzed by your own thoughts. And somehow no one really talks about this part of creating without turning it into a never give up speech. But in reality, it's messy, it's frustrating, and it's a lot of staring at a blank page wondering if you should just give up and jump out of the nearest window instead. So with this overly optimistic intro, welcome to Hired in Progress, where we embrace the mess. This is a space for people who love making things, but struggle with everything that comes with it. The doubt, the overthinking, the fear of putting yourself out there and talking to others. You know, people like me. And instead of bottling all of that up, I figured, why not make this into a thing? In every episode, I'll be working on my art and giving you updates while also talking through the struggles that come with it. So the creativity, motivation, burnout, imposter syndrome, all the fun stuff. And to keep things interesting, I won't be alone. Figuratively speaking. Meet Vess, the little voice in my head that believes that I am in fact not a nutcase. Hiya! I think you're so amazing, and oh my gosh, is that black nail polish? It's so cool! You should keep going! Thanks. And this gremlin is Nex. Thanks, failure is inevitable. Because it is, let's be real. Does this back and forth feel familiar? Then congrats, you're officially part of the club now. Hooray! My condolences. So, grab your sketchbook, get uncomfortable, and let's just be here for a bit, existing, creating, and figuring this whole art thing out together. Oh, and I hope you get to pet a cat today, or at least see one living its best life. There's a special feeling that I want to talk about today. Let's imagine this. You have a project, but instead of working on it, you imagine how it feels to work on it. Then imagine how it feels to publish it. And then you imagine yourself at a convention with the big creators you've been looking up to this entire time, only to wake up and realize that it was all in your head, like in that one filler episode of your favorite show. And in reality, you're still at the very first step of your journey. And now that you're out of your head again, you're afraid to start. Inside your head, everything played out as a guaranteed success. But once you step into reality, you can fail and regret ever trying. Because, let's be real, the moment you actually try, you risk proving that quiet but evil voice inside of your head right, that you're not good enough. Aw, sweetie. We both know that's true. That's just super helpful of you. Thank you, Nex. Anyway, let's just dig deeper into that special attitude. So, here's the thing. I used to post art all the time. Back when I first got into social media, I drew fan art, shared it, it even got featured a couple of times. And I felt proud. Because people finally saw your work and appreciated it. Because you make up for your lack of internal validation with external one. But the bigger my audience got, the more it felt like I wasn't drawing for me anymore. And if I posted something more personal, such as art of an OC, so original character, and it flopped, then it's because you suck. Or the algorithm? Nah, she sucks. This was a mindset I was stuck in for a while, and carrying those thoughts, it killed my creativity more and more. And finally, I stopped drawing. Until I realized I can't. Every time I try to walk away, I end up right back here. I've been trying to avoid it. Because it's stressful and scary to work on something that is completely your own and therefore matters to you. But I can't give up. What was that? Huh? This didn't feel like you, Vess. Nex, what did you do? I didn't do crap! Fine, don't tell me. I'll figure it out later. But seriously, why can't I just quit? Whether I try or don't, I'll fail either way, so what's the difference? Hold on. But if you never try, you'll never know. Exactly! You'll never know how bad you are. Success is just a comfortable fantasy. The moment you actually chase it, you risk realizing it's unattainable and confirming what you've already known. That you're not good enough. Or you could learn. you could get better. Or you could sit comfortably in your little bubble, dreaming of a 100% guaranteed success instead. Face it, Goose. Giving up is the logical choice. But I don't want that. Pardon? There's this friend I have, whom I really look up to. For anonymity's sake, I won't say his name. Or anyone's, in fact. I think it's quite unprofessional when people actually name their friends in their videos. Either way, he told me that he wants to live his life with as little regrets as possible. And I think I want to adapt that mindset. They say the pain of failing is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever. And the more I think about it, the more I hate how true it is. Yes! Character growth! Ugh, gross! Self-reflection! Look, I'm not saying just be confident, because if it were that easy, I wouldn't be making this video. All I'm saying is the alternative sucks even more. The more you romanticize an idea without acting on it, the heavier it gets. So what if we stopped waiting to feel ready and just started? Much like I'm doing right now. This video, it will never be perfect. But if I keep revisiting it in my head forever, I'll never move forward. I need to make it. So, hiya, I'm Jess. Welcome to Hard in Progress. Why do I always end up doing those social ideas despite being the probably only person that was happy in lockdown? I don't know. But here I am. I'll be making videos like these on a more regular basis now. Maybe once or twice a month, as a space where I unpack my emotions, maybe help you unpack yours too, and share with you whatever creative endeavor I'm currently on. Also, if you've been on my channel for a while, you probably know me as the Tom Tort person, which, yeah, I'm guilty of. I've made a lot of content around Eddsworld in general, and probably still be making some every now and then. And if you don't know what that is, first of all, hi, welcome! Eddsworld is a long-running animated web series created by Ed Goldfried with amazing humor, fun characters, and absolute fandom chaos. It follows a group of 4 friends, Ed, Matt, Tom, and sometimes Tort, getting into all sorts of adventures. And no, this was definitely not my first take. And if you do know what that is, nerd. Now, here's where things get interesting. The fanbase has taken this universe and created all sorts of interpretations, and one of the biggest, the Red Army versus the Rebellion dynamic. Which brings me to my big passion project. Let me set the stage. Picture a dystopian world. Tort's Red Army is in power, but the rebellion, led by Ed, is gaining momentum. After one of many battles, Tort captures Tom, who had worked closely with Ed, but was left behind. Tort expects resistance, but instead, Tom hands over intel willingly. Why? Allegedly because Ed betrayed him. Tort and Tom grow closer, but trust is still off the table. Too dangerous to keep, but too useful to throw away, Tort assigns him to spy on the rebellion. Meanwhile, Ed expects Tom to spy on the Red Army instead. So the big question remains, which side is Tom really on? In short, Tom's a wildcard. And that's about it. But why would Ed betray him? The characters aren't even the same anymore. Can you really call this your story? Not gay, Jess! Not gay! Okay, I get it. There's actually one more thing I need to address. Look, I started this as a fan project, but somewhere along the way, it just became something else. No shame in writing fanfiction, I still devour them like candy, but this one? It's just outgrown the space in my head. I wanted to stand on its own 2 feet, like a grown adult. A very gay grown adult. So, strike the Eddsworld and the AU, introducing Wildcard, the story. You do realize that means you have to rewrite huge chunks of the story and come up with completely new character designs. Right? That sounds like a problem for future Jess. Hi, this is future Jess. Thank you. You're hopeless. Lee creative? I love that idea. Although, I'm gonna miss those 4 rascals. Well, I can't really leave the Eddsworld version of the story behind without a proper goodbye, so I'll finish up a full song animatic before I move on. It won't be telling the story in its entirety, but I think you might enjoy it nevertheless. And besides, I refuse to leave the hard work that I've put into this animatic so far behind. So, your turn. What's the thing that you're working on but feel terrified to talk about? The project you've abandoned? The dream you shelved? The idea that's been rotting in the back of your head for far too long? Let's just all, collectively jump out of the metaphorical window that is our comfort zone and restart the trend of pushing each other's projects up as artists so that I can tear them to shreds. No! Personally, I'll be doing my part by giving a quick shoutout at the end of each video to a project that I think is pretty darn swell. Starting with today's very first feature, Project Tort, a fanfiction story and comic based on Eddsworld. Cause I like Eddsworld. Who could have possibly guessed? But yeah, the story takes place in an apocalyptic future where Tort is dying and his obsession with immortality is growing stronger than ever. Luckily, he has a plan. Unluckily, so does someone else. You like Eddsworld but wish it had a little bit more AI, world domination, betrayal, complicated relationships, and funky little AI dude. Well, this story is for you. But I think what I most love about this project is that every chapter has a different themed song that just happens to be on my playlist, and every few pages, boom, a new art style. Also, I may be a bit biased because I am in fact one of the artists that got to participate, but still, the story slaps, the creator's an absolute sweetheart, so that being said, go check them out, send them some love, and most importantly, tell them that funky little AI dude is possessing all of my devices and I need help ASAP, because I don't know how much longer I can keep this. So, what do you think? I have some points for improvement. So first of all, the introduction is way too long, not to mention the second and third section. You could have actually struck that entire thing and wrote it entirely different. I like it. Anyway, see you next time. Tell me what you think about this format, unless you dislike it. That was a joke, stay chaotic, and remember, you don't have to have everything figured out.